What is a Microsoft Enterprise Agreement? Let's talk about it. You may be a procurement manager in the software category, and you were given Microsoft to manage as a vendor. And you would like to know what is it I have to deal with? What is all this lingo? Renewals, true-ups, commitments? So let me start with the very basics of what an enterprise agreement is. And we'll keep this video very simple, but we will ramp up the complexity and the details in the next videos in this series. And we'll start from the core question. What is an enterprise agreement? An enterprise agreement is one of the available ways for an organization to procure Microsoft licenses. There are multiple ways available, and enterprise agreement is perhaps the most popular one. It was introduced quite long ago. I think it was about 2003, if I'm not mistaken. There's a barrier of entry. If your organization is below 500 employees, you just simply don't qualify for an enterprise agreement. And mid-2021, the community is expecting Microsoft to raise that bar to 1,000 seats. Amongst various ways to buy Microsoft licenses, amongst various types of agreements available, enterprise agreements provides the most comprehensive choice from the Microsoft price list of your traditional licenses, support and maintenance, and cloud services, including Microsoft Office 365 and Azure. It's a term agreement. If you sign it today, it's going to last for 3 years. It may be extended, but generally speaking, it is usually a 3-year long agreement. There are 3 very basic and core commercial features of an enterprise agreement. There are many more, but these are the main ones. The first one is the cost of the license that you buy in the very beginning when you sign it is split into 3 annual payments. Whatever you add later, you pay straight away. But those licenses that you buy in the very beginning are paid in 3 annual installments. Each year you pay 1/3 plus interest. The second feature is when you order a product, its price is fixed until the end of the enterprise agreement. Microsoft usually have annual increases on the price list. As long as you order licenses on your enterprise agreement, your price is fixed until the end. You're protected from those price increases until the end of the term. And the third feature is, of course, there are volume discounts. The bigger your commitment is, the bigger your purchase is, the bigger is the discount. There are, of course, details and nuances that I will cover in the next videos in this series. There are also various licensing features and conditions of an enterprise agreement, of course. And in today's video, I'd like to draw your attention to the next 3. The first one is, to sign an enterprise agreement, you have to commit to something. You have to commit to something to be purchased, licensed, enterprise-wide. Another name, a slang for that something, is a platform product. The best example would be, and that will apply to 99% of all the enterprise agreements, for your user base, for your desktop base, for your end-user computing base, you have to commit to buy a license for every user or every computer, depending on the type of the platform product that you select. You get all the benefits of an enterprise agreement in exchange for that commitment to license everyone or everything with a certain platform product or a set of platform products. Without some form of a commitment, there's no enterprise agreement. That's its core licensing condition, its core principle. If you're not ready to commit to that, then enterprise agreement is not for you. The second feature is maintenance. Software assurance is the name for maintenance in the Microsoft world. It's compulsory. All the licenses that you purchase in an enterprise agreement have maintenance as a compulsory feature. If you need a license without maintenance, if you need a license without software assurance, you have to buy it somehow else through other available channels. And the third licensing feature is true-ups. On platform licenses, you only need to count your users and your devices in the end of a year, and if there's any growth, you have to report it to Microsoft. So on your platform product, if your user base grows during the year, you don't have to rush and buy new licenses. You buy them in the end of the year, which is, well, let's agree, it's a convenient feature. There are 2 types of an enterprise agreement, namely an enterprise agreement which is for perpetual licenses plus maintenance, and there's an enterprise subscription agreement which is essentially for subscriptions. What's the difference? In the non-subscription type, you just pay for licenses and maintenance and 3 annual payments, and in the end you're left with perpetual licenses. Your maintenance stops, your software assurance stops, but you're left with perpetual licenses. They're yours forever. In a subscription agreement, you just pay your subscription fee every year. And obviously, if a subscription agreement ends, you're left with nothing. But you have a buyout option, so you can buy those licenses out if you want to in the end. Or you can renew. And renewal applies to both a subscription agreement or a non-subscription agreement. Why would you renew? Well, on a subscription agreement, it's obvious. If you want to continue using the products, you have to resubscribe. Simple. But why would you be renewing a non-subscription one if in the end you're left with licenses? Well, here's the catch. When you sign your enterprise agreement for the first time and you buy perpetual licenses with software assurance maintenance has certain licensing rights, certain features built in. And if you're a large organization, I give you 99% of probability you're going to be using those licensing features that you get only with maintenance. And in the end of the enterprise agreement term, 3-year term, you are left with perpetual licenses. The licenses belong to you as an organization. But if you do not renew your software assurance, you lose those rights that come with software assurance. And for every, 99% of the modern organizations, those benefits that come with software assurance are vital. How do you keep them? You renew it, but you don't buy new licenses, you renew software assurance for the next 3 years. So in a very simple example, in the first 3 years, you pay for perpetual licenses and maintenance in 3 annual installments. Then when you renew it for the next 3 years, you're just going to pay for maintenance to continue using the licensing benefits of software assurance. For those of you who will watch this series until the end, there'll be a video talking specifically of what you're going to lose if you don't renew your software assurance. Importantly, renewal is effectively a signing of a new agreement. You're not extending your existing agreement. The key 3 letters there are NEW. It's a new agreement. There'll be new price list. You're not protected from any price rises anymore. You start from scratch, from the price list at the date of the renewal. There'll be new language, perhaps, of an enterprise agreement if Microsoft decides to update the language of the enterprise agreement. There'll be new product packages, there'll be new product terms, but it's also an opportunity to negotiate for both sides. And if you had something fancy in your previous term, you're not guaranteed that that discount or that feature will be carried over to the new term. It is an entirely new agreement. And this is why we recommend starting preparations half a year prior to the renewal, because it's a very important event and it's not wise to approach it unprepared. There are, of course, strings attached. An enterprise agreement may not be for you. Firstly, it's that commitment. If you commit to license every single user in an organization, any growth you have to true up every year. If you merge another company or you acquire another business, you need to figure out a way together how to license everyone now in the merged bigger company. Or if your number of users goes down, there are very limited ways to reduce subscription licenses, and there are absolutely no ways to reduce your perpetual license quantity. In that regard, the platform commitment may not be for you. And if your organization shrinks significantly, you may end up with lots of shelfware. The other string attached is software assurance is compulsory. You can't buy a license without software assurance in an enterprise agreement. But there's an easy solution to that. You can buy a license outside of an enterprise agreement. There are, though, a few things to watch out for when you do that, which I'll cover in the next videos in this series as well. If you'd like to learn a bit more about software assurance, please watch this video. And for this particular series about the enterprise agreement, please leave a comment, connect to me on LinkedIn, and send me a direct message. And let me know which topics would you like me to expand upon. And please subscribe to my channel on YouTube so you get notified when I upload new chapters to this series. Thank you very much, and I hope you'll be less confused when you think about enterprise agreement now.